Councillors, ladies and gentlemen, please pray silence and be upstanding for the Worshipful Mayor of the Borough of Wigan, Councillor Bill Clark.
Good evening, gentlemen. Please remain standing while I ask my chap with Dave Hamlet. Is Dave here? No. Oh, sorry, Dave, I didn't see you there. Just a few words before we start the meeting.
Please, would you sit down? I'd also like to share something with you this evening. Firstly, Happy New Year to everyone. For the last few weeks, everyone has got caught up in the euphoria of Christmas and the Christ child, and whether we believe or whether we don't believe. But last week, in many ways, signalled the end of Christmas for many, with the Epiphany celebrated last week. And I read this reflection today, and I'd like to share it with you, if I may, before we pray. And it says this: one person's meat, it's said, is another person's poison. In other words, we react to things in very different ways. And that truth is graphically illustrated in the journey of the wise men. We see there how, from the beginning, Jesus met with hugely contrasting responses, accepted by some, rejected by others. A curious mixture of love and hatred, welcome and oppression, that was to continue throughout his ministry. The wise men, on the one hand, set off on a journey into the unknown to meet the Christ child. And when they found him, they knelt down and offered their gifts in joyful worship. In stark contrast stands the figure of Herod, greeting the news of the newborn king with consternation and swiftly resolving to do away with it. For him, Jesus was a threat, a potential challenge to his authority. Also, what the least he imagined, his thirst for power and prestige closed his eyes to the fact that this child was as much good news for him as for anyone. The pattern continues to this day, some being for Jesus, others against, some worshipping him as Lord, others being indifferent or hostile to his claims. Why the divergence? Who can say? The reasons are many and varied. We can no more account for why strangers from these were irrepressibly drawn to Jesus than those who stood in expecting the Messiah should have failed to recognize him when he came. For it's not what others think or do what matters. It's what we think. What do we do? How do we respond? And what is your answer to that as we leave Christmas? So may I pray for you. So, Almighty God, we pray for those who exercise authority in this local government, and especially in this place where we live. And we remember before you with gratitude those who in their different capacities serve the community. We pray for those who safeguard the public health and minister to the sick, those who provide for the welfare of the young and care for the elderly and the infirm. And especially tonight we pray for those in this place who serve in local government, remembering especially on Merville. And I pray that you will assist them in their very duties and deepen within us all the spirit of loving service. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Final prayer. May the blessing of God Almighty, Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be amongst each one of you and remain with you and those who you love this night and throughout this new year. Amen.
Thank you for those words, Dave. Right, statement from the Mayor. Can I remind members of the need to respect each other, and I will continue to chair these meetings fairly and to show impartiality. The rules of conduct for the meeting have been circulated in advance of the meeting, and the copies are on your seats. Apologies for absence. Councillor G. Fairhurst, Councillor Hodgkinson. Sorry about that.
Trying to steal my job. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, members and members of the public as well in the gallery. We have apologies tonight from Councillor Stick, Councillor George Fairhurst, Councillor Hodgkinson, Councillor Rampling, Councillor McLaughlin, and I believe Councillor Sweeney could be late, as a couple of members could be because of the traffic this evening. Are there any further apologies? Thank you.
Sorry for that. Minutes of the meeting held on the 1st of November 2017. I will move the acceptance of these as a correct record. Can I put the minutes to the vote? All those in favour of accepting, please show. That's passed. Thank you. Death of Honorary Alderman and former Mayor Mr. John Hurst. It is with deep regret that I have to refer to the death of Honorary Alderman Mrs. Joan Hurst, who passed away on Saturday, the 30th of December. Her funeral service and committal will take place tomorrow at 3 p.m. at Wigan Crematorium. Joan was first elected to Wigan Metropolitan Borough Council for the Inns Ward. Can I move that the meeting is adjourned for 5 minutes? Is that seconded? Thank you.
Councillors, ladies and gentlemen, please pray silence and be upstanding for the worship of the Lord before we begin. Councillor Bill Clark.
Right, please be seated. Thank you for that. A short intermission. John Hurst. John was first elected to Wigan Metropolitan Borough Council in the Inns Ward to by-election on the 26th of June 1997. Prior to being elected to the council, she had served as a co-operative member on the Social Services Directorate from 1989. She became Mayor of Wigan in 2000-2001, but due to circumstances, she was never Deputy Mayor. Joan also served as a Special Interest Member for Disability and Member Regeneration. Joan served on numerous committees and subcommittees and took various other roles on behalf of the Council, a number of outside bodies and charities. She was also a school governor at St Patrick's Catholic Primary School from May 1997 to May 2011. She has given valuable service to the Council and to the community at large, and for that reason she was made an Honorary Alderman in November 2011. Her late grandfather was John Parkinson, the MP for Wigan during 1918 to 1942, and John leaves a son and a daughter, grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Our thoughts go to the family for their loss, and I now invite members of the Council to pay tribute to her. Councillor Molyneux.
Thank you, Mr. Burton. I think there are certain times in life that you don't want to make speeches as a politician, and this is certainly one, because to lose Joan as a friend is really hurtful for myself personally, and certainly by my family. Can I just place on record our condolences to Joan's family from this council. I worked with Joan very closely when she became a councillor, and there are times if anybody plays any sport or football, you look sometimes before you go out, look around the changing rooms, and you kind of think, I'm glad they're on my side. Well, I was always glad Joan was on my side. She was one hell of a community activist before she became a councillor, and she was totally committed not only to her family, but to the community where she lived. She was an excellent councillor. All my time as a councillor, I can honestly say that Joan was the best comrade I've ever had. She was spot on in everything she did, and how she represented this borough when she became mayor. And she didn't have an apprenticeship. That was my concern. But she didn't have an apprenticeship, and she went straight into the job and took it like a duck to water. She was a fantastic ambassador for this borough and for the council. And I tried to think of certain things that took place while Joan was a councillor that we worked together on. And there's one significant time that stuck out, and that's when we had to deal with the contamination of the East Central housing estate in Wigan. And Joan and I were asking by then the director who dealt with public health, and that was Bob Saunders. He told us about the contamination that we found on the East Central estate. And at that particular point, we were faced with demolishing the whole estate. Over 300 houses, displacing 300 families on an estate that was a fantastic estate and still is. And the thought of having to go through the process of informing 1,000 people that the homes were going to be demolished. It was a very, very pressure time for both Joan and I. When we had the public meeting, Joan and I, and then I think Jim came on about the same time. The fact that Joan was there was very much a calming influence on the people who assembled in that room and explained the position that we were in and where we wanted to be and where we wanted to get to where we could solve this problem for them. And some of the people were quite irate, and you can understand that. They were upset. Houses where they'd lived all their lives, investments that they'd made in the properties themselves, and to tell them they could possibly end up being demolished and spread all over the borough, it was a bit of a pressure time. And there was one young guy who was built like the proverbial big lad. And he was a bit uptight at this particular meeting. But Joan calmed him down. She got him on side. And what we achieved there by getting the funding that we did via our MP and by the then Labour government was exceptional. But Joan played a major part in that. And one thing Joan always made sure that you did it right. She always made sure that when you were going somewhere, when you were speaking to somebody, she was always there to give advice and tell you, do it this way, do it that way. And Joan was the one who sat back and didn't say nothing. Joan actually used to get up and say things, and you listened. Joan didn't hold back. And I can tell you now, if she didn't like it, she'd tell you. She was straight to the point. And some days you'd be in the good boots, and some days you'd be in the bad boots. So never take Joan as that she was this cuddly, friendly grandmother. Some days she could be, some days she would decide to be. But what a woman she was. She was a champion in everything she did. She certainly led by example, and I would certainly miss her as a friend, as someone I could confide in, and she'll be sadly missed by a lot of people who knew her well. And my heart goes out to the family. She had 2 children, 9 grandchildren. I'm not quite sure if she knew how many great-grandchildren she had, but there was a lot. And Joan was proud of them all. She was a hell of a mother, hell of a grandmother, hell of a great-grandmother, and one hell of a councillor. And I'm proud that I stood alongside Joan, representing the people of this. Thank you, Mr.
Councillor Mooney.
Thanks very much, and I was very sad to hear the death of Joan. Not necessarily just because she acted the same representing in the ward and representing it, but also something about, over the years, and just listening to David there talking about the chemical fields and Central Estate, roughly about 9-12 months before that blew up, if you like, was the I became active there, and it was from 2004, David, myself and Joan became the 3 councillors for it, and I'm proud to represent it ever since. And I'm also proud to have known Joan, not just as a ward councillor. One of the things about Joan was she was always a little bit coy about her age. But what she wasn't... Yes, that's true. But what she wasn't coy about was her forthrightness, and her ability to stand her ground, and the ability to actually speak up for the community that she lived in virtually all her life. And those were the kind of character and the things that certainly I'll remember about her. If she hadn't been in the council, she'd have been doing all those things anyway, because she was part and parcel of the community. And irrespective of whether or not she became a councillor or not, and eventually becoming in other representative functions. But going back to the chemical fields in Central Estate, that was a huge thing for me as a new councillor in 2004. And it was David and Joe that kind of led me through the kind of ways and means of dealing with the constituents and hopefully trying to get a good result from them. And Joe was instrumental in that. So I knew her not just a work as a friend, and I knew some of her family a little bit. So I was quite sad to hear her death. And I think she will be missed. She'll be missed in Ince. She'll be missed in an awful lot of other places that she was very influential in. And one thing about Joan was that, I'm not being partly political here, but she was Labour through and through. Many people will understand that. We don't have to explain what that means, because that was her background, and that was what she believed in. She believed in social justice, she believed in fairness, she believed in equality. And that was some of the things, the traits that she carried on and tried to deliver throughout her life. So hopefully tomorrow at the crematorium people will remember that and send their condolences to the family that hopefully I'll be able to see tomorrow. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
I'd also like to add also my personal condolences to Joan's family and friends, and offer obviously the condolences of the Conservative group, because Councillor Molyneux is absolutely right. My small part in there was obviously quite significant part of her life, because obviously at the time Councillor Hilton, who should have not well, I was going to say that Hilton was due to become deputy mayor, and he obviously didn't want to step into the role. And I could understand why he didn't want to, because as deputy mayor, you have 12 months planning, you get yourself all prepared, it's a whole change to your whole way of life. And that was thrust upon Joan in a very, very short period. And I just wanted to say what a tremendous job that she did as the first citizen of the borough. And it's not an easy job to do and take on with very, very, very little notice. And bearing in mind that she'd only been a councillor for 3 years as well. Well, that didn't faze her at all. She threw herself into that role and did a tremendous job on behalf of the whole of the borough of Wigan, and carried out those duties in an exceptional way. And I also had the privilege of serving with Jo on the Health Screening Committee with Councillor O'Brien. And as all the members have already said, when she wasn't happy, you knew Jo wasn't happy. There's no two ways about that. She would make her feelings well known. Let's put it that way. But you know, and I actually think that is a tremendous characteristic of someone, because at least you know where you stand with them as well. And the other thing that I always remember about Joan was after she stepped down from the council, if I ever would bump into her in Wigan, she would always ask about me, ask about the family, and also ask about Henry as well, because obviously Henry, as council cabinet, was in hospital at the time, you know, with his stroke, and she would, without fail, always ask about Henry and Sheila's doing. And I actually just thought that epitomised what a kind and caring person she actually was, as well as being a tremendous worker in the local community. She was obviously extremely well thought of, and we will obviously all miss her, and the world will be once again sad place, unfortunately. But obviously we extend over the bill to all the friends and family. Thank you, Mr. Member.
Well, obviously I endorse everything that my colleagues have said about Jo. And I mean, she didn't have transport to get anywhere, and for the past few years I've picked her up and taken her to meetings. And in particular, because she planted the Holocaust tree in Mains Park, I used to pick her up and take her to the park because she always wanted to make sure that a bunch of white roses were placed on the day at the foot of the tree. And so last year, and I'm smiling when I say this because I can picture her now. So I rang her up on the morning and I said, Joan, it's Holocaust Memorial Day today. Do you want to go? And so she said, yeah, what time are you picking me up? So I said, well, I'll pick you up about 20 to 12. And she said, well, I've not got my white roses. I said, well, it's okay. I'll pick them up on the way. So I did, and I picked her up, and off we went to Mains Park. And I always parked so she didn't have far to walk. So we sat her in the car outside the pavilion. And it got to about 5 to 12, but not a soul was there. So we're both thinking, well, this is a bit strange. So I said, I'll tell you what, that we're all in the pavilion. So I'll nip in and have a read. So I went into the pavilion and couldn't see anyone who they knew. Spoke to the girl who was serving behind the counter. And I thought, no, I won't tell her the news. So I went out and I saw the funny side of this, but I didn't know whether Joan would or not. And so I said, Joan, do you fancy tea and scones in the pavilion? I said, because we're a bit early. And she went, how early? I said, well, a week. So anyway, so she just looked at me and she looked at the roses and she said, I could have been at home. I said, well, so can I for that matter. So anyway, I persuaded her to come into the pavilion and luckily, wherever you went with Joan, there was always someone she knew. And luckily for me that day there was. So we had a nice hour having tea and scones and having a chat. And as I say, I endorse everything that's been said about Joan today. And I will, in the memory of Joan, every Holocaust Memorial Day, I will take a bunch of white roses and place them in her memory at the foot of the tree.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I mean, I was really sad when I heard this news just before you heard about Joan, because Joan and I hit it off really early in the time as a councillor. Primarily, I think that's because I worked in health, and Joan, when she was working for a while, worked in health, and her real interest was social care, social services and older people, as was mine, and she was involved in no end of groups around the town representing disabled people, and she really passionate about that. So we hit it off fairly early, and you know, I think David's outlined, you know, she wasn't a nice, sweet, cuddly grandma woman, she was very forthright, and so when I got adult social care and got the cabinet position, whenever I bumped into Joan, she was very forthright about what I should be doing, what I was doing wrong, how I should be chasing these officers up to do this, that and the other, and really telling me where I was going wrong. Having said that, at the end of the conversation, she gave me a big kiss and a hug every time. And it's only a few weeks ago that I actually bumped into her in the reception here, and that took place. Now, as you said, Joan's grandfather was the MP for Wigan. So Joan was seeked in the Labour Party from being a very young child and was out leafleting around Wigan in very early days. And she was known by everyone in that community in Ince. Everyone knew Joan. And for a while I had the cabinet responsibility for community protection. And one of the things that tells you what Joan's like is, there was an incident one evening, when there was a fire in a garage and a number of officers settling tanks there. And they had to evacuate part of schools late at night and in the early hours of the morning. And who was there at 2 o'clock in the morning in Sunshine House, making tea, making sandwiches for those people? Joan Harris. And she wasn't a young woman then, but that was Joan. She was caring and she cared. But like I said, she was short-tempered, she was grumpy, but you just had to love her. And what Councillor Montague didn't tell you is in 2004 when we had all-out elections, and there were 3 councillors for every ward, David came top in Ince, and Joan came second. And what did Joan say to him? Hey you, have you been going around telling people to vote for you? And he didn't tell you that, but so he was in the bad books that day. So sometimes you're in the bad books, sometimes you're in the good books. But that she was a caring person who was strong and forthright and was a credit to this town, a credit to her family, and really a credit to her grandfather who was the MP. But she was Labour through and through, and she cared about the community, and she cared about this borough, and she showed that, and she's a sad loss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, Joan Russell was a right character. I mean, socialising skills, what she had was incredible. I mean, she was all very polite, you know, she was direct, like I said, but what a lady she was. You know, and I'm sad that she's gone. But I will be there tomorrow to show my respects, because, like I said, she treated me like an equal. And that's what everybody should be doing in this general. Anyway, thank you, man.
I only knew Joan for a short time, maybe 6 or 7 years, but she was very helpful to me, and she was wonderful. Right, we'll move on.
Mr. Mayor, I've signalled that I wanted to speak, and for some reason it's gone off the screen.
Well, we didn't pay it. Right,
Okay. I waited then, there was another speak. No one mentioned Joan's work in BIAC, at the Wigan Independence Advice Centre, and the other ex-councillors who run it for a long time. I think Joan must have been one of, if not the longest, next to the longest participants in that committee, and she did a hell of a job. And that's what the people said. If she wasn't happy, we certainly got to know, and Eddie felt the wrath of it on more than one occasion. But I mean, Joan was Joan, you know, I used to give her a lift home from BIAC. She never asked for a volunteer, but she was always so polite, and she was a lovely, lovely person when she was lovely. When she wasn't, just one little. I can't really tell the story now because it's not the sort of climate to say it. But early days on social services, I was sat alongside 2 colleagues, and for most people who didn't know, Joan had a hearing problem. She used to pick up things on the loop, and I whispered things as I tend to do at committees. People who know me know I pass notes and things, but I actually said something that I thought was really funny, and it was because my 2 colleagues were on the floor laughing. But Joan picked it up, took it the wrong way, and I was really, really punished after it. So apart from it, I'd just like to say my condolences for Kath and the family, and yeah, I'll be there again tomorrow as well. So thank you.
thank you, Councillor. Right, to say we move on another side announcement. The death of the leader of Tameside Council, Councillor Kieran Quinn. It is with deep sadness that I have to report the death of Councillor Quinn, leader of Tameside Council, who passed away on Christmas Day, aged 56, after suffering from a heart attack. Our thoughts go out to his family, and I now invite members of the council to take tribute to it. Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I was with Kieran Quinn just before Christmas as Councillor Boyle was involved. We had a meeting with the Combined Authority, and Kieran was in full spirits. I had a little bit of a dispute with him about what we're going to do with the budgets in next year, but you know, nothing untoward, and that's the last I saw him. In the new year, I was scheduled for a meeting. The first meeting I had back in the new year was a scrutiny of the transport expenditure, which Kieran Quinn should have checked. But obviously, he, during the period of Christmas, as you said, he had a heart attack, and 2 days later he died. The poor family on Christmas Day, obviously that will be a memory they don't want to have. His wife Susan is also a councillor in Tameside, and the 2 sons he has. He wasn't a councillor that long, it says he was elected in 1994, and he became leader in 2010.
Please get on with the meeting.
He became a council leader in 2010. On the CA, he had responsibility for finance and investment, and also because Tameside was the lead authority to the Greater Manchester Pension Fund, he was the chair of the Greater Manchester Pension Fund, but also chaired a national pensions body as well. All leaders who work in AGMA have a kind of balancing act to do. They have to balance being cooperative, working together on a collaborative basis for the good of Greater Manchester, but at the same time wishing to retain the influence of their own authority, making sure their own authority gets the best out of it. And Kieran was quite adept at doing that. He was certainly proud of what he'd done in Tameside, and the next meeting of the CA is scheduled to be in Tameside. And Kieran would have liked us to be there and to be showing us around the change he'd done this borough. But obviously, that's not to me. I'm sure we wish all the condolences for his family, for their sad loss, and certainly I should be going to the funeral of one of my colleagues.
Thank you. Councillor Howard.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. It's not often I get up to talk about leaders of other councils, but one of my roles is pension representative for this council to Greater Manchester, and so I got to know Kieran over the last 4 years. And it was just before Christmas, at our last meeting, we were talking about how we managed to steer the pension through some quite difficult changes, and what it was worth now, and compared to what it was some 20 years ago. And I think the fund stands at about £21 billion. That's people who work for authorities and other organisations out there that rely on a pension fund, and for that pension to be there when they retire, and that how that pension was invested was done properly. So when you retire, when anybody who works for these authorities, it's there for them. And how we actually spoke at some length about how we could use the pension to regenerate areas and places like that within our accommodation. So I was, quite clearly over the 4 years, what came across me was that Kieran, besides just being the leader of Tameside, cared passionately about his commitments and his chairmanship of the pension for the Greater Manchester Pension Fund, and how with due diligence and consciousness he's taken that pension fund now to be probably one of the best in the country, one of the best local government pension schemes in the country. And I myself personally feel very proud to have worked alongside him and gained some experience from him as well, and watching him work. So I think on behalf of all those people who came into the pension scheme in Wigan and in other places, I'd like to thank Kieran and his family, because quite clearly he put a lot of effort into chairing the pension fund, and it took a great deal of his time. And when you're in public service like that, it's bad enough being a leader, but if you've got other commitments as well, you hardly see your family, you're around there. So he's given a lot of his life away to public service. I think we should recognise that in Wigan. I think we should recognise the efforts he's put into the pension fund on behalf of the people who've paid it in Wigan. And thanks to Kieran and the pension fund over many, many years, it just went over for the funding not that long ago. We are one of the best in the country, and it's in no small part down to Kieran Quinn. And I think it's an actual credit to Tameside, and I think it's a credit to the ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
It's with great sadness really that I'm actually saying a few words, because Kieran was one of my friends. He was a senior colleague of mine. He represented the counties and I represented Adam in the Communication Workers Union. And he was instrumental in helping me to stand for council. He supported and gave advice.
Sorry about that.
Sorry. He supported me and gave me advice whenever I needed it, and he was a wonderful man. He was really, really sadly missed by members of his community, and it is really sad for his family that he died. Thank you.
Thank you. Could I ask members to stand for a minute as a mark of respect for those two? Right, thank you for that. The In Bloom Awards and results. Following on from my report to the September Council meeting, I am pleased to report that Wigan Borough has won 34 awards in the North West In Bloom presentation, including Silver Gilt and Best in Category. Crook Village received the Silver Gilt and Best in Category. The Grand Arcade in Wigan was awarded the Environmental Quality Award, and St Philip's Primary School in Allerton received the Trevor East Environment Outstanding Award. Some of the local Bloom groups also had their own success in the competition. Hindley Station was not only rated outstanding, but also scooped the best railway station. Hindley Community Allotment and Garden Society received an award for achieving Level 5 outstanding for 5 consecutive years, some achievement. Two new entries, 13 to 29 Brookdale Road Hindley and Mains Community Allotment, were two of the 12 groups to be given top ratings of outstanding. A full list of awards was circulated to all members of the council, and may I say well done to all those involved in the Bloom Awards. LGIU Councillor Achievement Awards. Councillor Reedy. It's with great pleasure that I can report that Councillor Reedy was awarded the Finance and Transformation Award on the 7th of November in London. The award went to the councillor who championed innovative and sustainable financial strategies within the council, pursued visionary transformation programmes that have improved the quality of service and contributed to an efficient and entrepreneurial and lean work culture within the council. Congratulations, Councillor. Parliament Week. This took place in November, and as part of the week, the Assistant Director and members of the Democratic Services accompanied Councillor Winstanley to Aldgate Primary School to deliver a presentation on democracy and Parliament to the Year 6 classes. I am informed that the pupils showed great interest and really engaged with the session, and good feedback was received from the head teacher. May I take this opportunity to thank the members and officers who were involved in that visit. New Year's Honours. We have no nominations for this year, but I believe there are some in the pipeline for next year. Mayor's Ball. Can I advise members that the Mayor's Ball will take place on Saturday the 28th of April 2018 and will be held, as last year, at Aspel Village on the Green. The event will again be organised by the charity community. It's a black tie ball, and the proceeds from the event will go to my charities, which this year are Juvenile Diabetes Research Fund and Parkinson's. The mayoral office will be assisting with the invitations, and further details will be sent to you shortly by the charity committee. So you may well be visiting shortly and have to purchase tickets at the point of a gun. That's entirely up to you. The mayoral office will be assisting. Declarations of interest. Members are requested to complete the relevant forms provided in relation to their interest. The monitoring officer has provided all members relevant guidance has been issued. All members are asked to consider other disclosure of pecuniary interest for the purpose of this meeting, and if there are any personal or prejudicial interests, then they must leave the room. If there are any further declarations, then please fill out the relevant forms if you need to declare an interest in this meeting, and return this to Christine at the end of the meeting. update from portfolio holders. I now invite Councillor Reedy to speak on the success of the Wigan Athletic Community Trust gaining the Community Trust of the Year award.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I start, could I actually move motion 20.1 and then 11.3, which is allowed to speak for 10 minutes?
Second.
Yeah.
Did you vote on that? All in favour? Right, fine.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I start about Wigan Athletic and the Community Trust, I just want to give members an update on the Community Investment Fund and the deal. Usually when I do this report, we talk about facts and figures and all the kind of goes beyond that. What I want to do this year really is talk about that, but actually put a bit more real stuff in there. So initially, we've invested over the last 5 years £9 million into communities. We've actually engaged now with 300 groups within the authority, which most of them are really, really successful. At the last council meeting, there were some comments made about how we put out the bids out to groups and how rigorous we are. So I just wanted to explain a little bit about the process of how we do that. It's not that we just do that willy-nilly. There's a real aim for staff, a rigorous process that we go through, especially for the big bids. And actually it goes to groups, whether it be under Keith's portfolio or Jenny's in children's, who look at all those bids and all the things that are around them and how they fit in with our strategy and what we can do. So sometimes we've got to say no, but we don't always say no. We say we'll look at how we can assist them in how we do that, so make it a bit better. And an example of that is we had a few digital bids going through last year. We combined some of them together, which still came out with the same performance at the end of it. That actually made it more worthwhile for us all. So it's a big thank you to all the staff involved in that, because it is an urgent task, because what we try and do, we do the other bit because we want it to be easy for the communities to actually fulfil what they do. And at the end of that, so it comes to myself and Councillor Mulligan to look at those. 9 times out of 10, we go along with that decision. Sometimes we disagree on whether we look for more information. So it is a long process. The deal, and say people will have looked at this all over, and it has become the envy of the country, to be quite honest. And I'm not just saying that in this chamber, because people have looked at what we're going to do by investing instead of cutting. And recently, on some visits from England Prison, the Governor asked me to go and see them at the prison and talk about the deal. They heard about the deal and the SIF funding, and they were so impressed they wanted to come out. But what we didn't want to do, as Wigan would do differently, is sit in a cabinet room or sit in a committee room, show a PowerPoint presentation. So what we did was take them out into the community, so there's a green slate for the break and so on. And they were so impressed with what was going on in the community. It's not what I do, not what people do, what our community representatives do. And what they've agreed to do though is release their staff 2 days a year to work in our communities, similar to the staff deal that we've got. I think that's a recognition of showing their commitment to what we're doing and actually supporting it. We also had a visit from Rochdale Council. We wanted to know about how we were doing the SIF and the deal. And actually, the deputy leader of Rochdale Council was quite, let's just say, he's been a councillor for a long time, so he's quite critical of some of the stuff we were doing until we explained how we did it. And he actually said, we've cut stuff and shut things, well, you've not done it, how can you do that? Once we explained that procedure, he was like amazed at what we'd done. And that's it. To be fair, some of the stuff that they're doing in blue, we can learn off. So it's not always that we always know best. But within the deal and SIF, they will actually toot back on it. What I want to talk about a little bit now, because there's a lot been said in the media and everything about our community groups and how strong they are and what they do. I want to give some case studies really about the things that happen, about real people in our society. Sunshine House. I can't praise Sunshine House enough about them. It's an absolutely tremendous facility we've got in the borough, and the things that they do there is absolutely second to none. I went there on Sunday morning to see Barbara or something for 5 minutes, and ended up spending 2 hours there with her, and that's Barbara because you can't get away. And some of the stuff she was dealing with day out there, it's true. I can speak for hours about it. Well, there's just two case studies that I wanted to talk about. And one was a 15-year-old lad, this is going back a couple of months, and the deputy leader of the All About It, who'd been expelled from school, he'd been expelled from the special school, he spent more time on roofs than he did on the floor, And really, he's in his society of his own life. He had a difficult home life with his mother, his stepfather, did. We can all paint that picture. And what Barbara does in the school holidays is employ young people to work, to give a work experience. This lad came to Barbara and said, "You won't employ me." And she went, "Apply." He said, "I can't be bothered because you won't employ me." She said, "You don't apply, we don't know if you'll get it or not." So he applied. Barbara gave him the job. So the first day he turns up with his baseball cap on and his hands are black-leaded, and Barbara wanted him to work in the pantry. So, unbeknownst, as Barbara does, a bit similar to Joe Nurse, you either like it or you don't like it. Tomorrow, you lose the baseball cap, you clean yourself up and you wash your hands and you come back and we'll leave the way you do. That lad came back, cleaned and tidy, did it. He's still working there as a volunteer. Barbara asked me to go in and have a chat with him. Really nice lad, difficult issues he's got in society, but she's helping him. Something that we couldn't do, Barbara's doing. And he went to Barbara after 3 months of working for him and said, "Do you know what, Barbara, it's really hard this." And she said, "What's that?" He said, "Being good." And I think that tells you something about a young person. The second one there is that people know Barbara's two called the Annex next door. And when they were doing that up, we got a paint company to give some paint. So all the paint sets out there. What Barbara had a few months ago was a guy on community service, an ex-veteran, lost his way in life, did whatever. And he was walking past us today and said to Barbara, "Have you got any work going? I'm really on down and out here." And she said, "I'm sorry, mate, I've not got a budget for it, I've not got this." And she said, "What do you do for a living?" "What did you do?" He said, "I was a painter and decorator." And Barbara was like looking up and said, "There is a God here, I've got all this paint. This guy's a painter and decorator." They worked it out the way they did together. He painted that. Hughes Brothers, who's a contractor for us and does a lot of stuff, employed him as a painter and decorator. That guy's never got a job, a flat through the Veteran Society, all because Barbara showed belief and trust in him, and she calls it a tin of paint story. I think that's a tremendous kind of advocate to what was on there. I want to mention Fir Clent. Naturally, we know all the stuff that was on Fir Clent, and over the period that we've done there, they've actually intercepted 450 million tonnes of food since 2015. I feel they've been going about 20 years, to be quite honest, because we do that much work. They've provided 70,000 meals at Fir Clent. But Shirley and Anne will tell you it's more than just about food anymore. It's about the people who go in there, the people that we work with as a council, and it's tremendous. And she told me one story, because I asked all these groups about for case studies, and I ended at the panel. I think we'll have to extend standing hours even further if I read all the stuff that I've got out. Young lad with ADHD and other issues was getting over at school, really couldn't handle family life. We got him there 1 day a week to help in the kitchens, really to it, some really difficult issues with him. They contacted the school and allowed him to go there 4 days a week because he was going to fail everything. He's now going towards a BTEC in the food. Still difficult situations with this young man because the attention-seeking kind of thing is really hard for them with ADHD people know. So they've got to make sure they're on the ball and stuff like that. Just another example. One of the things that I've been doing, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get down to all the community groups that I can because there's so much work going on. At Christmas I was invited to Hop, Skip and Jump, which is the side of the youth zone in Wigan, which deals with kids with autism and families and what have you. Went in there, you can imagine what it was like, an activity play. It was absolutely tremendous what the kids were doing there. You know, their autism issues and family issues. And what they were telling me the stories about, feeding these kind of the families because they didn't have a lot of money. And they didn't know about Fir Clent. So I connected them up with Fir Clent. They know I'll get the food from Fir Clent to feed the people at Hop, Skip and Jump who normally wouldn't get fed. That's what the SIF's about. That's what the deal's about, is connecting people. It's just tremendous. The last one I'm going to give you a case study on is Compassion in Action. And when I asked Pam for this, she sent me about, I think it was about a reading case study. But just one quickly, and I'm not probably doing justice in a sense because I'm putting down. A young lady comes to the door, to Pam's door at Compassion in Action, whose daughter is an heroin addict. She doesn't know where to turn to. She comes to Pam and said, "I just don't know where to go anymore. I'm really kind of the bottom here. The drug dealers are after them, the money people are after them." Pam got him in there, got him on the program, put him back and sorted that issue out for him. I think it's really tremendous what our groups are doing. And I've got to say we're actually moving forward. The Believe Talent Fund, we're doing crowdfunding, we've got a funding office, we're really moving forward at a fast pace. What I want to say just before I finish and introduce Tommy is, at the last council meeting, Dave Baxter came here
and actually give a £1 million for this council. And I was disgusted at the way he was treated by some members in this chamber. I was embarrassed because he was put going. I apologise to that guy. I hope that never happens again in this chamber, because in 21 years that was one of the low points I would say in this council chamber. I was absolutely disgusted. And I hope people concerned would actually go to that guy and apologise the way he was treated, but I'm not going to go any more than over that. I think there was some really unwanted things there. Just before introducing Tom, I think, what would this borough look like if the people at Sunshine House, Compassion Action, Fairclay, just to name 3, decided to close their doors and what we'd have there? So we'd have to all think about that.
Sorry, Councillor, you're over now.
Sorry, I'll just introduce Tom, because Tom's coming in now. Tom Flowers here from Community Trust, who was named Community Club of the Year this year. They do a kids programme with him, they deal with hundreds and hundreds of kids. There's loads of stuff in our communities. I didn't mention all my other stuff because I didn't want to burst Tom's bubble. Thanks for coming here tonight, Tom. You tell us what you do. You do a tremendous job for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for inviting me along this evening. As Councillor Reid said, my name is Tom Flower. I'm Head of Community at Wigan Athletic Community Trust, and I'm just going to talk to you briefly about the work that the charity does in partnership with the council, which is something we're very proud about. First, I just want to assure you all that although we're very much part of the everyday running of the football club, as a charity we are financed and governed independently from the football club. So that means any funding we receive, whether it's from yourselves or national charities such as the big lottery fund or sport belief, goes to the projects that we deliver. It doesn't go to pay the wages of footballers who may be on a Saturday afternoon playing well or more often not playing badly at the DW Stadium. As a charity, our aim is to work with Wigan Athletic to improve health, enhance life chances and create stronger, safer communities across our borough. We now employ almost 50 members of staff, ranging from sports coaches and apprentices to teachers and youth workers, and attract investment of £1.2 million into the town every year. Each year, we work with over 12,000 people in Wigan, impact on 72 of the borough's 105 primary schools, work with 15 secondary schools, and have hundreds of young people and their families fulfil their potentials. The Community Trust has grown dramatically over the last 6 years. And alongside the support of the football club, we've been able to achieve this by combining national investment from partners such as the Premier League and the Big Lottery Fund with local partnerships to tackle local priorities. A great example of this is the Deal Community Investment Fund, which we've been fortunate enough to benefit from over the last 3 years. For every £1 of funding that we receive for the deal, we've been able to attract an additional £4 worth of funding from national partners like the Premier League or the Big Lottery Fund. This has resulted in an additional £500,000 worth of projects being delivered in partnership between ourselves in the borough. The funding from the deal has enabled us to expand the Kicks project, which provides free sports activities for 12 to 19-year-olds, 2 to 3 nights a week, 48 weeks of the year, which we've been doing for the last 10 years. We now operate 17 sessions a week in 5 of the councils and 7 service delivery footprints. Over the last 12 months, 2,258 young people have taken part in Kicks. 55% of these participants were over the age of 14, and importantly, 32% were girls. Kicks gives the young people something positive and constructive to do in their own communities at times when they're tempted to get involved in youth nuisance and antisocial behaviour. Working alongside the Council's public health team, we're also able to provide health workshops to 150 young people from Kicks who are specifically targeted, having identified health needs. 30 of these young people have gone on to gain qualifications as a health champion. This has given them the skills and confidence to be able to tackle negative health behaviours amongst their friends and families. Through the Pathway to Participation project that we run in partnership with Wigan Youth Zone and Inspiring Healthy Lifestyles, we have given vital mentoring support to over 300 of the town's most vulnerable young people. The scheme has helped 132 of these young people gain a qualification, and since it began in August 2015, it's helped 112 young people volunteer for a minimum of 20 hours from community activities. This helps 133 young people who are at risk of being excluded from school to stay engaged in education. And importantly, helps 80% of them feel better and happy about themselves at the end of the project, something we often take for granted. While we're proud of these statistics and these numbers, the real success of our projects, like Councillor Reid said, is in the stories, case studies of people involved. This could be about Colin, a former armed forces One member of the Armed Forces, through our Football Forces project, has managed to reduce the amount of medication taken for depression simply by playing football once a week and making new friends. Excuse me, or it could be about a young man like Oliver. Oliver has been attending kicks in Hagford since he was 13. He didn't have the most stable home lives. He lost his mum at an early age, lived with his granddad, and had to care for his 2 young sons. The only real constant positive thing in his life was the fact that 3 times a week he'd go out into his estate, knowing that the coaches there wanted to play football and talk to him. 3 nights a week, 48 weeks of the year, regardless of the weather. Oliver left school at 16 with little qualifications, lacking confidence, and not knowing what to do with himself. We invited him in to do a work placement with the support of the coaches. He studied for level 2 in sport and also achieved his functional skills in maths and English. Last summer, he completed an 18-month apprenticeship with us in PE and school sport, and remarkably, he's now studying for a foundation degree in sports coaching at the University of South Wales. To see the changes in Oliver over the last few years has been great to see, and he remains an example to other young people on what can be achieved when we're given the opportunity. Thank you again for the opportunity, for the chance to speak to you, talk to you this evening. We look forward to continue to work with the council to help young people like Oliver fulfil their potential.
Thank you for that, Mr. Flower. Morality. I now invite the leaders to move the recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move the Councillor Susan Greensmith to be Mayor of Metropolitan Borough Wigan for the next municipal year, and for Councillor Stephen Dover to be the Deputy.
Thank you. Is that seconded?
Make a second, Mr. Mayor.
Any other members wish to contribute? No? All those in favour? Thank you. Members should note this appointment is subject to the Council approval of the annual general meeting to be held on the 23rd of May 2018. Constitutional issues. The result of the Shevington and Lower Grand by-election held on the 14th of December 2017.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's my pleasure to report that Councillor Marlene Theresa Whitton was elected to the Shevington and Lower Grand ward at the by-election held on Thursday, the 14th of December.
May I, on behalf of the Council, welcome Councillor Whitton to this meeting. Approval of local authority associated persons to academy governing bodies. The Council has requested to authorise the local authority associated person as set out on page 22 of the Council agenda to be appointed as a trustee of the Makerfield Multi-Academy Trust. Is the nomination moved?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Make a second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All those in favour? Thank you. Appointment of local authority school governor representatives. The Council has requested to approve the nominations for the appointment of school governors, together with nominations for the reappointment of existing governors, as set out on page 28 of the Council agenda. Are the nominations and reappointments moved?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Make a second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All those in favour of accepting these recommendations? Thank you. Resignation of Councillor Stephen Jones, Bringward.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Owing to the resignation of Councillor Stephen Jones from the 5th of January, there will be a Campbell vacancy for the Bryn Ward. The by-election will take place on Thursday, the 22nd of February 2018.
Thank you. Policy framework of
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, can we speak on this?
Information item only.
Can we speak on it, please?
Information item only. Thank you. Switch your microphone on, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Policy framework for budget framework items. Financial monitoring quarter 2. At page 31, we have a report which was considered by the Cabinet on the 16th of November 2017. The Council is requested to agree the recommendations of Cabinet, which was to accept the revenue and capital monitoring position for Q2, together with the predicted position on the delivery of the budget and savings for the financial year. Is this recommendation moved?
Make a move, Mr. Mann.
Make a second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Do any other members wish to come to speak? No? Thank you.
Yes, there is. We can only go brief, because we want ourselves.
Could I hear?
Any chance before you make that speech, no one wants? Can you have a look over it, because we press buttons?
Yes, I will.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. This item on the budget, yeah, I'd like to skip on this. Once again, last year we asked for a more detailed report. Once again, we've not got it. All we're getting is just rubber stamping stuff all the time. On page 48, 165 million pound investment. Again, where's this money going? It's there in black and white, Councillor Smith. I know you're going to do song and dance about that. I'm not involved in finance, but when I'm reading documentation like this, it says this council is investing 165 million pounds. But nothing else after that. You know, we give financial support to the councils. 20 million, 5 million pounds each. We're giving banks, 5 banks, 15 million pounds each. But yeah, we're cutting corners all the time. Why are we investing in a bank with 0.36%, which is a third of a percent, based on that figure? A third of a percent. We're investing 165 million pounds. For what? Why don't we address the needs of the people of Wigan, the needs of the community? You just mentioned the deal. The deal sounds great when you talk about it, but this community is not even getting £1,000. But other items and businesses getting over £200,000. There's one guy got £96,000. Did he spend it on what he wanted? No, he bought an house there. This chapel here, this chapel in the front page of the League Journal, £200,000. Did they spend it on the church? Did they open the cafe? Did they sell a bucket? No. They bought the building for 50,000 and now they're selling it for £150,000 and being allowed to keep the money. Well, what's happened to our £100,000 which we give them? When do we get it back? It's called public money. And if you can't spend the public money on what they apply for it, it has to be returned. Now I know you've gone for this £96,000. But they're opening music studios up. There's one across the road there, another £24,000. Is it running as a studio? You're giving them profits, what they should be making as a business. But hang on, let's just get it off the council. Because they don't want it back, and they're not check up on us, they'll just take it. And you mentioned Sunshine House. Yeah, they probably do a lot of good work in the community. Everybody would if they had that sort of financial support. My ward gets nothing. We don't get nothing. We have to beg. This community group goes, Lord, we want a defibrillator, which is supposed to be the thing now in Wigan Council. £1,000 not back on the deal. Other people not back. Yeah, I think we should get the out swing going, we're talking about facts. We're talking about facts. And these facts of your financial report, just quoting figures, but nothing. We don't get nothing back. What's the percentage? Where does that money go into the community? When does it go into the community? It's £165 million taken out next year's budget to go into that fund. But where's the £165 million from that fund? Where is it? I mean, but all your figures said, it's on paper.
Now, why don't we get a full, detailed report on these finances? Thank you, Madam President.
Does anybody else want to speak on that? Councillor Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thanks, Paul, for bringing this to my attention.
I'm sorry, I was speaking about one minute.
I know, but I couldn't help but I've got to just pick up on a couple of things. I think we should all remember, first of all, that we have independent auditors, and it goes to the audit committee, and we get unqualified accounts, and they're not taking auditors. So if there was some conspiracy, Bob, or we took some money from the back of the coach somewhere,
Excuse me, Mr.
it would be
Sorry, Councillor Freeling, don't interrupt, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I just want to return to some of the statements he's just made. I stand corrected, of course, but he said council invest in 5 banks, each receiving 15 million quid.
Each.
Yeah, each, absolutely. Then there's the smaller banks receiving 5 million each, is that right?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I'm not, it's actually
Councillor Freeling, do you mind not interrupting other people speaking? You're allowed to speak, no one bothers you. Please, let him speak. Thank you. This is what they call democracy. Who said that? Right, mind reading. You're not part of this meeting. I'm going to ask you to leave, please. That's a joke. What's the other big team? Right, sorry about that, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So you mentioned small banks receiving 5 million, that's the total of 20, that was 4 of them, then some building societies, I think you've mentioned, and then 25 million, and some investments coming to about 160 million. Well, you know, Bob, you're looking at the wrong page. Because that page you've just been quoting from merely is a list of triple A places where we can put money until it's spent. And, you know, some of them banks don't even want to take out them because it's not held there that long. So you've just come out with the biggest load of rubbish I've heard in the last 15 years. You're actually reading from the wrong page, Bob. And I've sat here year after year and I've listened to it, and I'm not listening to it anymore. It's absolute rubbish. The page you should be quoted from is further down, Bob. Not that. There is not £160 million. We have not got 15 million in 5 different sets of banks. It doesn't exist. It's a list where we can place money, and it's the maximum amount we can place in that bank at that time until it's spent. So if you're going to stand up, Bob, and quote and say, we don't spend our finances properly, at least do it from the right page. You're reading from the wrong one.
I'd like to reply to that.
Excuse me, you can't reply. Sorry, Councillor Bailey. Do any other members wish to contribute?
Yeah, I'd like to reply.
Councillor Bailey, please. You do it every time, don't you?
Yeah, I do look, yeah. I know the rules. And I've been at council a lot longer than you, Bill.
I'm moving, that you heard no more.
No, yeah, it's
Can I have a vote on that, please? Everyone in favour? Thank you.
Yeah, you're right to joke this. I'm not standing around, sitting around, when you breach the Constitution rules, and you know the rules, Mr. Mayor. You're not allowed to make that judgment on me. You're only allowed to step in when two guys are around. I'm going. I'm going. It's just a ridiculous situation. You leave that democratic right to speak in its own hall on any item I choose.
Leader, I believe you have something to say.
Yeah, you're done.
Thank you, Bob.
I'm going to try and add to the financial education of Councillor Brealey that Councillor Halliwell starts.
I'll give you a financial education, Mr. Clark.
What,
I've told you last time. You can't even beat up in a brewery. It's all going to come out there. I'm sorry, please keep away from me.
That's fine. Councillor Halliwell covered most of the main points, but I was surprised at one comment Councillor really made, was he said that this financial report is full of figures. I've got most financial reports are full of figures. I was wondering about it, but anyway, obviously not in Councillor Beale. He says he's interested in facts, but obviously he's not really interested in facts as he's shown by walking out this year. So I think we'll leave it there. So.
Thank you for that. All those in favour? Thank you. Council tax reduction scheme. Sorry, Councillor. Housing revenue account, rent setting 2018-19. Can I remind members of our council house tenants that they have a personal and prejudicial interest that they can stay in the meeting room. On page 55 to 62 of the agenda, we have a report which was considered by the Cabinet on the 7th of December 2013. The council is requested to agree to the recommendations as set out on page 56 of the agenda. I call on the leader to move the recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Is this seconded?
Thank you, second, Mr. Mayor.
Do any other members wish to contribute? No? All those in favour? Treasury Management's mid-year review. On pages 63 to 74, we have a report which was considered by the Audit, Governance and Standards Committee at its meeting held on the 23rd of November. The Council is requested to agree the recommendations of the Cabinet, which is to endorse the report. Is the recommendation moved?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Do any other members wish to contribute? All those in favour? Thank you. Council tax reduction scheme, I'm back on my own page now. Council tax reduction scheme. On pages 75 to 98 of the agenda, we have a report which was considered by the Cabinet on the 7th of December. The Council is requested to agree the recommendations of the Cabinet as set out on page 76 of the agenda. I call on the leader to
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, second, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Do any other members wish to contribute on that item? No? All those in favour of the recommendation? Thank you. Questions and comments on Cabinet and committees? Councillor Edward Holton wishes to ask the following question.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. Unfortunately, Councillor Holton, due to the traffic situation, hasn't been able to attend this evening. But I wonder whether the leader would perhaps allow me to put the question, which is on the order paper, and that he could respond. I'm not going to read it out to speed the process up. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I invite the leader to respond.
Just quickly, Mr. Mayor, I think it's very interesting this question because HS2 line goes through.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm delighted to answer this question from Councillor Holton via Councillor Winstanley. I think the last time that the wood seemed to be mysteriously moving was, I think, in Shakespeare's Macbeth. I think that's when there was last allegedly that we would have to worry about that. And at one time, perhaps it was easy enough to influence the views of the Ordnance Survey when it was a couple of lads coming round with a piano light, checking up, you have a chat, taking the phone. maybe you could get them to, I mean, not they wouldn't put a mountain or a big river, but perhaps they could just move a fence or whatever it was, to be obliged. But it's much more difficult these days. But of course, it's all done by satellite. Where do we know when the satellite is coming over? To look on globe to see what is the topography. Could be any sign. Could be anybody's satellite. We just don't know where it's going to be. So the only advice I can give to Councillor Hull is maybe if he tries Gandalf. Gandalf the wizard. He may have a better view of what's happening here, because I certainly don't. I can assure, seriously, I can assure the council that no, myself, nor no other officer has been in touch with the Ordnance Survey about this particular issue. And if Councillor Holton consults a larger scale map, he will see a reference still to Barrow.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Fortunately, I'm here to ask this question. Well, some people may say unfortunately, but... so I would like to join the Deputy Leader in welcoming the investment for the Conservative government into the M58 Link Road. As I was going through my Observer, after I got past pages 9 and 10, I came across the Deputy the Deputy Leader's comments welcoming this investment. However, obviously in the press release from HM Government, they mentioned this will unlock potential benefits on the belt site. Now, I strongly believe that the economic case for this link road is strong enough and should not be linked to the development of the belt. And as we know, the whole GMS is obviously under review. The leader confirmed that the belt site was used by this council, the combined authority, or the office of the mayor as leverage in a bid to unlock funding for the M58 link road. And also, would the leader publish any correspondence submitted by this authority in a spirit of transparency, which would help alleviate concerns being expressed in the local community? Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor. My name was up, it's gone off, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry, it's not on here, sorry.
It's back up.
Have you got a personal interest in that?
No.
No.
Really?
Right.
I'll ask a question, just a
Sorry, I thought you'd have to give your... Sorry.
I'm trying to come in on your question.
No, just constitutionally. I'm not having a go.
Can I?
Is the leader going to respond to the question or another cabinet?
All right.
No, I should respond.
Right. Would you like to respond now, sir?
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, the plans toward the creation of the M58 Link Road are part of the Council's long-term growth strategy, aiming to make Wigan Borough a great place to live, work, visit and invest. The Link Road will create better access to both local Manchester, city regions and also into the heart of the Wigan Town Centre, quickly connecting the east and west of the borough, whilst also significantly relieving traffic congestion from the A577 for local communities, improving road safety and improving air quality. Overall, the new road will boost economic performance and profile of Wigan by facilitating the development of new employment sites, regenerating existing sites and establishing new residential developments. And I think this has actually been in plans for Wigan Council since the early 50s. So it's hardly anything new. But unfortunately, it is rushed to draft a question for the Council. Council Winston decided to rely on a press release from Her Majesty's Government. Well, only in the last few days we've seen evidence as to why you can't rely on press releases from this government. Who did they say was going to be the leader, the chairman of the Tory party? Not the guy who got the job.
Leader, could you stick to the answer to the question, please?
There's hardly evidence about it. There was press releases by this government for hardly under accuracy. But I can confirm that the N58 Link Road's economic appraisal is robust and sound and does not include any development on the Bell site. Therefore, the council did not seek in the outline business case submitted on this to include the Bell site. The references to the Bell site were in the release from Highways England. And today, I'm sure Councillor Winston will release. No, I've received a letter from Highways England accepting their copy.
Brilliant.
That they put it in the press release without any information from us. They simply added it in. I think they're trying to here we are. I can confirm that the Bell site did not constitute any formal part of the approved GHF, which is the Growth of Housing Fund, which is where the money comes from, scheme. Our offer to contribute to the N58 Wigan Link Road is in no way dependent on the development out of the Bell site. So therefore, as I say, don't listen to what your own government says. Ask the council.
Right, we're going to move on now. Notice of a motion. This motion has been submitted by Councillor Conway, and we're reminded that it doesn't need to read this out, and it's set out in page 105 of the agenda. Is the motion seconded?
Seconded.
Councillor Conway?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've moved this motion because I've been a bit concerned about the issues that may affect us in this region and us in Wigan in particular without something being done in the very near future. So, many years ago in the 80s, a lot of the mines in this area closed down. It was part of the government plan to close mines. And at that time we received very little support from central government, and actually it was a programme called Recharge, European funding, that actually put some money into this area to deal with the consequences of the loss of the industry. And so for over 30 years we benefited from European Union structural funds. European Regional Development Fund and European Social Fund. And that's benefited areas like that. So in this current spending period, which is 2014 to 2020, this country will receive £9 billion in European structural funds. The major part goes to, just over 2 million goes to Wales because of the consequences of the closure and industry in Wales, and just under $1 million goes to Scotland. There was £6 billion for England. The Greater Manchester has benefited during that period to just over about £410 million. Now you have to remember that European funding is not all finance funding, it's match funding. So that £400 million of European money coming into Greater Manchester has probably generated about somewhere in about £1 billion of economic development in Greater Manchester. And yet, on June 23rd last year, we had a referendum, and we Brexit, well, the year before, and we Brexited, and then last year, Article 50 was moved, and we're in a 2-year period. So literally, we are now about 15 months away from exiting the European Union. And there's no indication from government as to what will take the place of regional development funding that's necessary for our areas and the less prosperous economic areas in this country. I noticed the other week Michael Gove was out giving some commitment to farmers about up to 2024 about the amount of £3 billion towards them. Now, in the general election last year, the government, the Tory party, in their manifesto, said they would replace European funding, regional development funding, with a UK prosperity fund, and they would consult widely with business, with public organisations, with local authorities about the fund and the setting up of the fund. Have we heard anything at all? So in 15 months' time, European regional development funding could cease, and there is nothing planned to replace it, other than a line in the Conservative Party manifesto. No wide consultation. So this is part of asking the Secretary of State for Business, the Secretary of State for Local Government, our MPs to actually push to start that discussion and negotiation. Because I think there are a number of things we want in there. We want the new fund delivered. I mean, I welcome the fact that there's going to be a UK Prosperity Fund, but I want that fund delivered. And what we should be saying is that fund must be at least the £1.5 billion a year that came to this country. At least. There are also opportunities, because part of the problem with EU funding was it was quite bureaucratic, there were very strict guidelines you had to follow, and like I said, that £400 million probably generated about £1 billion spending in Greater Manchester. But because it wasn't all finance, and actually there's an opportunity for the government to adopt a process of not match funding, but actually for really necessary projects, for actually, through the UK Prosperity Fund, have full finance funding. But you see, we're nothing. And I think what we're asking for is an allocation that matches the scale. There is widespread disparity economically in this country, between London and the south east and areas like us in the north west and the north east of Scotland and Wales. So the funding should match the scale of the regional disparities. And actually, we want more flexibility. There's an opportunity to have more flexibility. European Regional Development Fund and ESF, the European Social Fund, reflected the structures in Brussels. That was the structure, and it doesn't make sense really to separate economic development from skills. So if we're going to have new industry and economic development, we actually need to have the skills and training opportunities. So the fact that Brussels separated that is an opportunity for us to put it together. And another thing about European funding is it's linked to very narrow thematic constraints as well. So there is an opportunity, and we want to be part of that discussion about broadening the opportunities within them. And as I said previously, it's about targeting the less prosperous regions. You see, the EU has 3 regional categories: more developed, transitional, and less developed. Those are the only 3 categories they have. So actually there's an opportunity for us to really look at where the regional disparities are greatest. And in the northwest they are fine. Northwest, northeast of England is probably the worst affected. So to target that in a more flexible way. Another point about European funding is the assisted area maps. Assisted area maps are drawn up by the EU that allow the UK government to give aid to industry. So one of the maps it's discussing about the maps, and I think virtually the whole of this borough is in an assisted area. But there are limits around large companies of over 250 employees can't have more than 10% of state aid. And what state aid doesn't do is allow you, what state aid, EU state aid rules don't allow you to do, is build an expansion of an existing business. So in fact, there are things we can do, but we're not being asked, and this is about being asked. But I also think we need to align wider public spending to whatever the UK Prosperity Fund is. I mean, we have a situation where per capita spending on transport in London and the South East far exceeds what we get in the North West. And in terms of economic regeneration, investment in infrastructure, investment in transport is really important. And UK science funding is concentrated on Oxford, Cambridge and London. And so is it perverse that cuts are targeted on older industrial areas like ours? We were the third worst affected according to the IFS in terms of cuts in total number. So whilst the older industrial areas which actually need the investment, which need the skills development, which need the new jobs, which need the new companies, which need the new businesses, it doesn't get it. It goes to areas that are already economically doing very well. And you get the perverse incentives of big cuts on local government and large sums from the local growth fund going to where economies are already strong. So we need to have the discussion now. We're 15 months off from going out of the EU, and we haven't even had the discussion, and we need to do it now. One of the big things for me is, and just before I finish, we have got a slight bit of breathing space. Because the deal that they agreed, or that Theresa May agreed, just before Christmas to move on to the next phase, said that even if we withdraw in March 2019, we will remain eligible for EU regional development funding to 2020 to the end of the scheme. Now all that does is give us a bit of breathing space. We need to be answering these questions now. We need to be consulting on it. And the big thing for me is that local authorities, I mean, I wouldn't give the money specifically to local authorities, but local authorities need to be involved in that regional development, in the spend, to have some say in the spending of that funding for regions.
Councillor Conley, that time's up. Sorry, thank you, sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to endorse what Councillor Plummer has said. I think he's absolutely right. I think this does give us an excellent opportunity. And for those of us that campaigned to leave the EU, that's exactly what we said. Because it's a bit like, if I could do a financial comparison, I know Lord Smith's very keen on these financial things, but if I, for example, gave Lord Smith £10,000, and then he said to me, oh right, well you can have £8,000 back, but you can only spend it on pies. Well, that's not really much use, is it? As you can see from the physique, that I don't really want to spend £8,000 on pies. But why should I give the EU money in the first place? Only to be told how to spend it and what it should be spent on. It's absolutely right that those spending decisions should be made here in the UK. Now, whether we've got a Conservative government or a Marxist government, which hopefully we won't have, the people of this country can get rid of that government, which is absolutely right. However, we've also got a major opportunity now in the north with the Dino Magmers. We're unlocking more powers for them, so we're actually devolving power down. Now is absolutely the right time to make the case. Yes, things haven't moved, but as Councillor Cunliffe knows, on Europe, nothing is agreed until everything is agreed, and I'm sure the negotiations over the next 2 years will clarify that. However, it's absolutely right that we should be putting that case now to lobby to make sure that our voice is heard at that particular table, so that when those decisions are made, we can actually outline a strong and economic case as to why that should happen. And you're absolutely right in terms of economy and skills. We do need to develop a skill base in this country and in this area as well. And we need to be ready for the jobs that are coming. We need to be ready for the new technology that's going to come. And that's why we need to raise our skill levels, because the industries and the jobs that we've had in the past are going to change. You know, robots are going to change a lot of this. We need to be in that place where we've got got excellently paid jobs and we've got a highly skilled workforce, and that's why we need to raise the fare and need to raise those standards. So that money will be absolutely vital in doing that. So in terms of this motion tonight, you've got the group's wholehearted support, and we will more than happy come to sign the letter. And I could say to Councillor Cullen, if he has mentioned about the government not moving very quickly on letters, but if he wants to do that letter that we said at the last one, we'll still not have that one. But I'm more than happy to sign that one as well. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. You've got our support this evening on that motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I fully endorse everything Councillor Winston has said. I agree entirely with what Councillor Cummins has said. With one exception, there was a point of terminology that I had to pick him up on. He kept referring to European money, but it's worth remembering that every penny we got from Europe was money we'd actually given them in the first place. It was taxpayers' money, not European money. And there is one point you mentioned actually in regards to agriculture, as you know, my family very long time agriculture. And I am reminded of my father, who was undecided on how to vote in the referendum. He came back from Cheltenham Market and he said 9 out of 10 farmers at the market are voting to leave, because even though a very large amount of money was coming through agricultural subsidies, it only benefited a very small number. And it was, it's many of the things you described there with the funding, very restrictive. You can only have it a certain way. Michael said you can only have 8 grams of pies or various thereof. Speaking to a number of farmers recently, they've been saying, look at what Michael Gove's proposing about creating a new set of funding for agriculture, which better fits the priorities of agriculture in this country, rather than a centralised scheme set in Brussels. And farmers seem to be very happy about that. And obviously that is an ongoing discussion. And I agree with him that we need to be having a discussion with central government now about what schemes are going to take place in this regional development funding. But I do agree, as I think both you and Councillor Winston have said, that to make the decision as close as possible to this town hall as possible. Because the local decision is often the most well-informed decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think it's rather ironic the farmers thought it was a good deal. I think anything that Michael Gove said he's going to achieve is sometimes a little bit worrying. But at the same time, I think we've got to remember, and thank you for the support that you're offering, but don't let it be a half-hearted support, because we shouldn't have to go cap in hand to this government for them to retain this funding. It's most important that areas like Wigan, that still carry the industrial scars, not only in the landscape, but on the back of the people and the communities who live in, of what we went through. And it's only right now, whoever's in power, guarantees that we get the tools, get the money, get the skills, get the education that allows us to go forward. Because it's no use offering kind words. We need that to be in place. And at a minimum, they should have even offered the same time scale as the farmers have got to look at the guarantees for this funding for places like Wigan. It is cross-party. The Industrial Alliance, which keep the tent, are not just Labour-controlled authorities. They're controlled authorities by SNP, by Tories, by Liberals. So it's most important that we all just don't talk about it, we all actually do something about it. Because it's only fair, we talk about education, but when we turn young people out in this room, that they have the opportunities, skills and support that they need to go into the jobs into the 21st century and beyond. And can I just say, thank you for your support, but let it not just be words. I'm not sure if Michael's got the ear of the ministers these days, because obviously they're more keen on sending us letters and making statements than they are you. But I honestly believe that we've got to push this from all parties to make sure that Wigan gets its fair deal and the first support that it needs. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Cullen, do you wish to sum up?
I thank you, Councillor Winston, for supporting this, because I think it's important that this goes through unanimously, because it's cross-party, and as David said, the Industrial Communities Alliance, which I represent this authority on, is an all-party organisation. fact, the Treasurer. We made the Tory party the Treasurer. So but I welcome the fact that you're indicating that this is taxpayers' funding, it's our money. We give more to the EU. So I'm really pleased that you'll be advocating far in excess of £1.5 billion a year, coming back somewhere in the region of £3 billion a year in the economic regional development. And I think you're right. I don't care. I want that commitment from any government. Whether it's a caring socialist government run by Jeremy Corbyn, concerned about the people of this country, or whether it's a neoliberal millionaire far-right fascist party that's in control now. So, whichever way it is, I'm quite happy for the government to catch me out.
Can you stick to the motion?
No, we said we wanted it to apply to any government, and I'm quite rightly agreeing with you. So hopefully, yeah, I'm glad this will get unanimous support, because I think, you know, it is 15 months off. We really need to be sorting this out, and I know nothing's agreed until it's agreed. Well, that's around the Brexit deal. We know we're going to Brexit. What is the British government going to do about this when we Brexit? We can't wait till March next year to start talking about it. It needs to be sorted out now.
All those in favour of the motion? Thank you. That brings us to the end of what's been an interesting meeting. Thank you all for your attendance. Have a safe journey home.